everybody. Welcome to Physics 2. Hopefully we've gotten started. Just a few things that I want to go over and explain for the structure of our course. So this is Physics 131. It is calculus-based E&M, which can be a lot of fun, although intimidating, but it can be a lot of fun. Okay. My name is Professor Roman. I've been at Chandler Gilbert for 5 years now, and I've been teaching this online class for several semesters. So my office is located out at the Williams campus, which is in between ASU Polytechnic and the Mesa Gateway Airport. I am there on Wednesday mornings from 11 to 1, I guess midday. I will also have online appointment hours at that point as well. And then due to kind of a busy schedule, I will have appointments available on Mondays and some Fridays, but where it says posted weekly, at the beginning of each week, I will have notes and information. At the bottom of that information will be a link to sign up for office hours if you want it online, or details on dates and times that I will be available in person for that week and the following week. Okay. So please make sure that you're taking advantage of those. My students who are successful in this class, make sure that if they are lost or they are confused, that they don't just email me, because sometimes it takes a day or two to get back, especially on weekends, but also taking advantage of those face-to-face, online office hours are coming in, okay? So most weeks, the module will consist, I do a week-to-week basis, and the module consists of kind of a major topic each week. So usually this week is a little different. Week 1, we're kind of getting our feet wet, but it's also, Monday was a holiday, so it's a little different. But typically every week our modules will be posted on Monday morning, and you will have notes, readings, and lectures. The readings are obviously optional, but suggested. And I do have other additional resources or resource suggestions. If you go and start Googling some of these concepts like electric flux, you're going to get some crazy responses that don't always make sense or maybe above or below our level. So I find other resources other than just listening to me talk about this stuff for you to be able to use, so you're not like lost in a search engine trying to figure it out. Okay. CFUs, or check for understanding, those are kind of like your multiple choice one-step problems. Start with those. Don't do the expert TA problems. Those are our bigger ones until you can solidly answer all of the CFUs. All right. CFU questions are things that I would normally be asking as we go in class, but obviously this is not a live class. So this is kind of the basic information. As I said, 1-point type things or conceptual multiple choice type questions. You can take those over and over again, and they're due on Thursday evenings. And then you'll do expert TA homework problems, and then depending on the week, we usually have 2 labs, and I'll get into that in a bit. And then ending with the last thing you should do for the week is our weekly quiz. Okay, so this is our schedule. As I said, on Mondays, I will open the module, and then your CFUs will be due on Thursday, and then all of the other assignments will be due on Sunday. Okay, so the CFUs are those checkpoints. You should be doing those first. If you are planning on leaving all of this work to do on Sunday, you're going to be very disappointed in yourselves. Okay, it's too much to do in one day, but it's also the concepts are really abstract sometimes, and your brain needs some time to work with the material for it to fully grasp and understand. Plus, I don't have office hours on Sundays, and there's some days I work, sometimes I don't work on Sundays, so I can't always ask or answer questions. Okay. So your grade breakdown is kind of a lot, but it's coursework, lab work. That is all that learning material. And then we have quizzes, a midterm, and a final exam. So your coursework consists of those CFUs. CFUs, you should be getting 100% every single week. Okay, you can take them over and over and over again until you get that 10 out of 10. Some weeks I will divide it up into 2 smaller CFUs or just one 10.1. Okay, they are due by Thursday at 11:59. If you already have completed it by Thursday on time, do not go back into it after Thursday. Okay, I have I have Canvas set up as a 10% per day late penalty, and it will take points off. However, on Thursday, I will publish a review as well as your weekly quiz that will be due Sunday. And then that is pretty much a compilation of the CFUs plus a little bit more. So you can use that to study, and it is a practice quiz, not part of your grade, totally optional. I just don't want you to lose late points if you go into the CFU after it's due. Our other part of our coursework is our expert TA. This is a homework problem. I know some people have used like mastering physics or other different homework things. We use expert TA. Unfortunately, there is a slight cost to it, but it goes along with our course. Essentially what we do is, or what I do, I have it set up so you have one free attempt for every question, and then after that you lose 5% per question. Or per attempt per question, not on the whole assignment, but just for that one particular question. Okay. And the reason for that is that I don't want you to just kind of guess. I want you to actually think and learn from it. The numbers are randomized though, so you will all have different answers to the same questions. However, I have these bonus opportunities that I like to call them, that if you use more than your one free attempt, like if you're starting to lose some points on it, every week you can submit handwritten solutions, whether they're from your notebook or on a whiteboard. Just take a picture of it and I will have an expert TA corrections for that week. Okay, and so then I'll give you those points back, because if you're, sometimes it takes a few tries and that's okay, but if you're showing me that you're legit attempting by writing out your solution, I'll give you those points back. Okay, so that is our coursework. Labs, we have a whole pile of different types of labs. Obviously, most of them are simulations, except for weeks 6 through 10 is all going to be building with circuits. These labs, the building kits, will be available to pick up on campus. I realize that some of you, it may not be possible for you to come to Chandler Gilbert in order to pick this up. I provide a link in order to buy these on Amazon. It ends up being between $20 and $25 depending on the cost that week on Amazon, but essentially it's a breadboard kit with multiple different resistors and capacitors, along with a multimeter. So if you already have a multimeter at home, that's fine. Or if you have a circuit kit that you've used in other classes in engineering, that'll probably work as well. I will have details on all of that during week 3. So stay tuned on that. Okay. Our weekly quizzes will use Lockdown Browser, and you'll need a scientific calculator. There is a scientific calculator in Lockdown Browser. It's not great, but it is available. All quizzes are due Sunday night. They do not, they close at 11:59 Arizona time. So if you are starting it at 11:58, you have 1 minute to finish it. So please plan accordingly. Okay, these you cannot do late. It will automatically give you a 0 and lock you out of it. You are not to be using your phone or another device or anything like that. If I see that on the proctoring, then unfortunately that's academic dishonesty. However, I use these as a checkpoint. Okay, if you are not getting 100% on your weekly quizzes, you should go back and look at what you did once I open the grades up or open them up for review. And then you'll have 2 weeks to fill out. I have this little form to fill out for a quiz retake. If you are nearby a Chandler campus, you can come in and take the retake in person, or I typically offer them online again as the quiz retakes. Okay, it is a no fault retake, which means you can, hopefully most people get a better score once they figure out what they did, but I will obviously keep the higher of the 2 scores. Okay, so that is for every quiz. You don't, not just 1 or 2 or pick your lowest one. I've had students who have retaken every quiz and come out of this with a really good grade. Okay. I will provide all equations in the quiz for you. There's the retake information that I just talked about. Okay, and then this semester we will have a midterm during week 6 on those particular days. If you see, I've got one on Wednesday, the 25th of February, and then two on Thursday, the 26th, and one on Friday, the 27th. If these do not work for you, as it says, you can schedule at a testing center. Most colleges around the country will offer a proctoring service or a testing service. There's usually some sort of a fee that will range from $5 to $30. But reach out to them to schedule an in-person on paper, and then they'll kind of send me some information, and then I coordinate this. As I said, I have been teaching this online for several semesters now, so I am very familiar with working with testing centers from all over. Okay, and the same thing for your final exam. Um, the week before both of those, I will have a sign up sheet, or sorry, Google form sign up, so you can tell me which you choose. So you don't have to commit now, but the week before, you're going to let me know what session or if you're using a testing center. As I mentioned, there are no late quizzes, and my other late work policy is an automatic 10% per day on labs and coursework. This is a very, very, very lenient late policy, and a lot of my colleagues tell me it's too lenient, but because of this, I do not offer any extensions. Okay, if you need an extra day, well, you can still get a 90% if you do a good job. Okay, if you need 2 extra days, that's still an 80%. We have 2 assignments in our coursework and 2 assignments in our lab work every single week for the next 15 weeks. So, you know, if you're losing 10 or 20% here or there, it's not going to make or break you. But trying to deal, I don't do extensions. Okay, sorry for that. This is what you should come in knowing. Okay, we're going to use all of these. Please remember that when you're studying calculus, you're learning the theory behind it and you're developing the concepts. And then in physics, we use your math skills as a tool, right? So although we're going to be doing some integrals, we'll do some cross and dot products. We don't need to prove the, the cross products, okay? We don't need to know why. We're just going to use it as a tool. Just like we study our physics and the concepts behind it and the theory behind it and all of that, and then you can use your physics concepts as a tool to solve engineering problems, right? And so when I say that we're going to be doing all this, we're not deriving these, we're using these as tools to solve problems. Another one I should add on there, if you have done matrix before, you know, systems of equations, I teach it in an algebraic form, but if you know how to do that, then it makes your life a little easier later on down the road. So that's closer to week 9-ish. All right. I have students who are extremely successful in this class, and I have students who are not successful. And the difference is your organization. Okay. You know everything's published on Monday. You know your CFU is due on Thursday, and you know everything else is due Sunday. Don't wait till Sunday. Okay. Set yourself up with a schedule for your week. Okay. Set yourself up with a notebook so you can take notes from my lectures. Keep an ongoing equation sheet. You will have an equation sheet due by the end of the semester for you to use on your own final. But if you keep that going throughout the semester, that'll be easier. Okay. Just because this is an online class doesn't mean it's going to be simpler. It's actually quite a bit harder than an in-person. And that's because you need that self-discipline. All right. And as always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask.